What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. That's I'm Korea. It is Thursday here, obviously getting closer to the sports equinox. Obviously, we have had the tip off to the NBA season, so now NBA season is officially underway here. Obviously, very exciting times here as we get closer to college basketball as well. But first, got to do a recap of how we did back on Monday. First, just me and my one only play. Obviously, didn't really overthink it, and obviously that was very sweat free because I cashed on the first drive. Obviously, didn't really. Obviously, the Mike Evans did get injured and obviously was out for the rest of the game. But all we needed was a touchdown. He got that on the first drive. Obviously, he got a little banged up on that play as well. With the hamstring, and then he got injured again in a deep ball tackle as well, where he got rolled up on. And so obviously, Bucks are now down their top two receivers with Godwin and Evans now down, but. All we needed was a touchdown from him, obviously a plus 125, and that was a great winner Monday, obviously, against the Ravens. A pretty exciting game, obviously, a lot of high scoring. We saw Derrick Henry, just absolutely have his way through that Bucks run defense. So obviously that was great to see. So, Mike Evans, obviously anytime TD, that was the one and only play for me. Great to see that came out as I don't really do player props that much, but I just love that spot for him. Getting him at plus money, that was a great look there. So nice to see one of my bets hit this past weekend. Ari, how'd you do on Monday?
Yeah, 0-1. It was a weird game for the Chargers, or a weird game for both teams, I should say. Like the first half alone, the Chargers had two plays where the defensive lineman had the interception, and then fumbles on the same play, and then later in the half, I think it was Jalen Rager had the catch at like the 4-yard line and fumbles it in the end zone. And then even still, the Chargers had a chance, but then it was again. Okay, Curry will be back. Then it was a game-winning field goal for the Cardinals as time expired. So that was a tough one. But yeah, 1-on-1 day for the two of us. Korea should be back any minute now. I'll just go over my one play for today. And it's the Timberwolves today for me. Obviously, they kept it somewhat close. They're trailing for basically most of the game in their opener against the Lakers, but they were down for pretty much the whole game. Tonight they play the Kings in their season opener. And I'm really just looking at this as a bounce back spot. Obviously, having one game under the belt, obviously new team, a little bit of a new team, with Randall and DiVincenzo. I like the Lakers, in their home, in their season opener at home. With Minnesota having a couple new players, and now they have the game under their belt. So it is in Sacramento, which is, known to be a tough place to play. But last year, record-wise, the Kings, I don't think they were as good at home as they were a couple years ago. So I'm just going with the Timberwolves to bounce back here in their second game of the season, again with the game under their belt with their new team. So that's what I'm going with for tonight.
Ari, you obviously you dominate the NBA. Obviously, you've been on a run right now as well. Nice to see. Obviously, you have the Timberwolves. I like that play as well. It was a weird, not weird, but obviously just with the whole, Bronny and Braun show that we got to see on Tuesday on the opener. Obviously, that kind of took away, from the Timberwolves. Obviously, we did see them make a little bit of a comeback, but obviously now in this spot, I do like them on the road here. You mentioned, playing Sacramento. Sacramento didn't really have that much, home court advantage as they did the previous year. And I do like the Timberwolves spot in the bounce back. So, and I know you like to target teams in a bounce back spot as well with the quick road trips as well. So I do like the Timberwolves for you tonight. Obviously, you going back to the NBA. Me, I'm gonna go straight to the Thursday night football game here, and it's not my strongest bet, obviously, just with how cold I've been recently, but it is the lean. I do like the Rams plus the 3 here, minus 120 on DraftKings. I know so much money, so much steam going on the Vikings, but the line hasn't really moved. There's obviously the news about Cooper Kupp returning. There's potential news about Puka, but I wouldn't really count it. Obviously he's still pretty banged up, obviously. So, I just rely more on Cooper Kupp, and that's obviously the bigger news, obviously, for Matthew Stafford getting his receiver back. Obviously, that's, a big thing for this Rams offense. They were, having guys like Tutu Atwell, Demarcus Robinson, as their primary pass catchers. Like I said, we go back to that week 1 game where the Rams pretty much almost they would have beat the Lions, obviously in that overtime game. And obviously the Rams were fully healthy at that time, with their offense. But now, it looks like they're slowly getting back healthy again. And, I love backing McVay here in this kind of weird spot. We talk about, short rest. McVay is one of the best coaches, if not the best coaches, in terms of coaching teams on short rest. I remember that infamous game where they came back and beat, I think it was the Raiders with Baker Mayfield, who just came in the day. That's how Sean McVay does it. He'll find a way to win games. And, like I said, Baker Mayfield came in for this team a couple years ago. And I think it was a few days before the game on a Thursday night game against the Raiders, where everyone was hammering, I think, the Raiders, or I think to cover, and the Rams got out the win, or whatever the situation was here. So obviously, you look at these two teams here, the Vikings coming off that tough loss on the road, obviously at home against the Lions. But the Lions and Rams, in terms of how they run their offense, in terms of, Jared Goff, against the blitz, and he's looked pretty good. I think Matthew Stafford, you look at his career, against the blitz, he's one of the best quarterbacks, in terms of, not in terms of QB pressure, against the blitz. And we know Brian Flores, he's going to bring the house every time, right? And so obviously Stafford's going to have to make a play. And obviously, I would lean the Vikings if obviously, he didn't really have any pass catchers. He has Cooper Kupp back. And obviously that's a safety blanket that, Matthew Stafford always loves to go to, whether it's third down, second down, whatever down it is. Obviously, you still have Kyron Williams in the backfield. But now that you have Cooper Kupp back as a big safety blanket, I think that really opens up this Rams offense to a lot more plays, obviously, having maybe disguised reads or whatnot. So I think the Rams, they could be a live dog. I know a lot of people are on the Vikings straight up on the money line, or, the -2.5 or whatever. But I think that's Vegas's trap door opening up, saying, here, take the Vikings -2.5 today. Vikings money line, here's the trap door. And the Rams are going to cover and potentially win this game. So I do like the Rams. If you don't like this line at +3, like I said, one of my favorite things is to put them in a teaser. So maybe tease the Rams up to +9, and then maybe find a Sunday teaser leg as well, if you don't really like this current line right now. But I do love the Rams here to keep this one close, obviously. Like I said, backing McVay, short rest week, one of the best coaches in terms of coaching on short rest, obviously on Thursday. And then the Vikings, it's been a weird trend, Ari, but all the teams that have played the Lions the week after, I know you've probably seen this, 0-4 straight up. Just I don't know what it is with the Lions, man, but I guess they just beat you so bad that they beat you into next week. So I guess, and obviously for the Vikings here, I think obviously you can credit to the Lions offensive line, obviously, battling the trenches. I do think that maybe, a little bit taxed on that Vikings defensive front, and obviously trying to get to Jared Goff, trying to get through the offensive line and all whatnot, obviously. So I think the Rams obviously could be a live dog here at +3. I would probably sprinkle the money line if it gets really interesting, but depending on where that line goes. But right now, I do like the Rams just on the 3 here, -120. I would tease them up to +9, but this is more of a line read. Obviously, it's been 3 all week. Obviously, we had the news of Cooper Kupp and potentially Puka Nacua coming back. So, I think, Matthew Stafford now getting his offense back, I think that really elevates this Rams offense, a lot. And we talk about, it's not really it's not really one team out coaching the other in terms of a coaching battle. 2 great coaches, and just one, in this spot, is a lot better than the other. And so I'm just going to back that coach here in McVay. So I'm backing the Rams plus the 3 here, -120. So it's not my most confident here. Obviously, probably putting a unit on it, but I do like the Rams tonight and to cover the 3 -120. So our 2 plays for this Thursday here, Ari, just going back to the NBA basketball court here with the Timberwolves straight up on the money line here. You're getting them in almost a pick 'em, -115, a little bit of short favorites there on the road in Sacramento. And then my one and only pick tonight with the Rams in the Thursday night football game, hosting the Vikings tonight, taking them to cover the 3 at -120. Like I said, tease them up to 9 if you want to. Take the money line if you want to. I'm just taking the Rams to cover the field goal spread plus the 3 -120. You want both of these bets, of course, on our Twitter below, AKP Sports Talk. We'll have this video and our card posted momentarily. But of course, that's going to do it for this episode. We will have tomorrow's episode, of course, posted soon. Obviously, we're going to get into the entire weekend of college football and NFL, big weekend. And then Next week, we are going to be doing something different. We're going to be getting back into our fully regular scheduled programming in terms of daily videos. Obviously, now with the NBA returning, we got college basketball quickly on the horizon. We have hockey as well, a lot of other sports. Of course, Monday, the sports equinox, we have a big parlay as well for that. So get ready. Next week, we're going to be doing a lot more episodes, so a lot more content coming your way soon. So obviously with the plethora of sports that are going to be coming on soon. But that's going to do it for this episode. That's Ari. I'm Curry. We'll see you guys for the weekend preview.